Hi everyone, it's Abby from Pictour and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be taking you on a virtual tour of all the best secondhand shopping in Kyoto. When I first moved here, I had no idea about the secret underground world that is secondhand shopping here. Kyoto is a surprisingly great place to shop secondhand. And whether you're looking for luxury goods, unique fashion pieces, or anime or electronics, I've got you covered. Don't forget to check out my website, which has information about each of these places, as well as the Google Maps link. And of course, it also has information about my photography and my photo tours if you're interested in that. As always, I'm going to be giving you my honest opinion about each of these places. And stick around to the end because I'm going to be saving my very favorite ultimate secondhand store for last, and trust me, it's worth it. All right, let's dive in. So in this video, I'm going to have three main categories, and that is fashion, luxury goods, and basically everything else. So electronics, anime, games, etc. will be in the third one. So if you're only interested in one or two of these things, you're welcome to skip around. I'm gonna have the timestamps in the description. So starting with category number one, fashion. So first up, we have Big Time. Now, this store is literally like a time capsule, filled with old school styles from the hippie era to European vintage. The place is 4 stories, with 2 floors for women's fashion and 2 for men's fashion. They also have a ton of t-shirts and sweats, but honestly, prices can be a bit high. But if you're after real vintage vibes, this is the spot for you. There's some really unique and special pieces here that I know real vintage fans would love. They do have kimonos, but they're a bit on the pricey side. Maybe stick to the real vintage fashion here. It's definitely a place where fashion feels like art. Next up is Jam Kyoto, and this one is mostly for the guys. However, I've had more people rave to me about this place. They have a pretty good selection of clothing, and a lot of it is American style. I'd say the prices here can be a little steep for what you get, but if you're looking for something simple and stylish, it's worth checking out. Young Japanese people also tend to love this shop, as they can get cool imported pieces that we might just pick up at a local Goodwill. Next up is Chicago. Now, Chicago's got pretty similar fashion to Jam, but here's the kicker. The entire second floor is kimonos. They're super well priced. Even though the selection might be a bit basic, they have a lot. And they really have every type. They have regular kimonos, fancy kimonos, summer kimonos, which are called yukata. They have them for men, women, and lots of different children's sizes. They also have accessories. So if you're looking for an affordable kimono, which I know I have been, I've bought quite a few here, Chicago is a really good place to go. And speaking of secondhand kimonos, Wargo used kimonos is also a nice place to visit. Wargo is a brand that you might have heard of if you've tried to book a rental kimono in Kyoto. This shop is not for rentals, it's for buying, I assume, some of their older kimonos. They do this thing where it's charged per kimono weight, so 1 gram is 1 yen. The selection here is decent, although of course it's not as big or as wide as Chicago, but the prices are pretty similar. It's really good for anyone who wants a no-frills, traditional look without totally breaking the bank. All right, next up is one of my favorite places for more modern fashion, and that is 2nd Street. 2nd Street is a chain that you'll find throughout Kyoto, and honestly, if you just want some regular clothes, it's a must visit. They have a fantastic selection of unique, like-new items from popular brands, and the prices are really reasonable. You'll find a mix of low to mid-priced brands, plus some hidden gems when it comes to fashion. I really do shop here a lot. Everything is curated really well, and it's just nice to save money on the brands that I already know I love and that I like to wear. They have quite a few locations. The one in Kyoto Kawaramachi is good, although they do have some that are a little bit further north in Kyoto, not that far by bus or taxi, and some of those are even bigger, have a wider selection, and can be cheaper. So if you have the time and the will to shop, I do recommend checking those out as well. And again, the info will be in my blog. All right, finally, we have 3-Star Kyoto. Now this place is pretty similar to Big Time, although it feels a little bit more like raiding your grandma's closet, but in the best way possible. Because grandma's got a big closet and she's got some drip in there too. Plus, they have an area where artists rework old clothes into new, unique pieces, which I think is pretty cool if you're looking for something one of a kind. I also do love their accessories, and I have bought a ton of jewelry here. Alright, now let's move on to something a little bit fancier. If you're looking for luxury goods or brand items, Kyoto has a lot. Here are some shops that are great if you're looking for high-end items at low-end prices. First up is Brand Off, and they have a pretty good selection of luxury items. Think more like designer bags, watches, and accessories. The prices are okay, but if you're hunting for a specific brand at a specific price, you might want to shop around a little bit more at some of the other places I'm going to mention. Next up is Kindal. Kindal actually has quite a few locations. I feel like every time I go to Kyoto, there's like another one, but they have a really good selection of items. I really do like this store for its solid selection of designer goods. The prices are reasonable. In my opinion, they have the best selection of brand clothing. So if you're looking for more clothes rather than just like bags or accessories, definitely you want to check out Kindal. My favorite location, which has 3 floors, is going to be located in Teramachi Shopping Street. I love this place. It is so fun just to walk around and look at all the cool clothing they have, and it is for men and women. So you can find some really neat pieces here. And finally, we have Ragtag, and honestly, this place kind of shocked me. The selection of designer goods and clothes was super interesting, really unique, lots of more fun, interesting patterns and colors and textures, and I had a lot of fun walking around in here. If I were someone that wore designer clothing, this would probably be kind of like a theme park for me. I do recommend if you enjoy yourself some brand luxury clothing. Alright, if you are more into electronics or games or anime, this is your section number 3. Kyoto has some incredible stores that sell everything from old school retro games to top-notch secondhand cameras. And if you think Tokyo is the only place to get these kinds of things, you are wrong. Kyoto has, honestly, maybe better prices. So first up is Hard Off, and yes, that is the legal government name, and it's located near Arashiyama Bamboo Forest area. So earlier I mentioned a store called Brand Off. This is Hard Off. There's a lot of stores that are secondhand goods that are something off, because I guess you're getting money off of the items. But all of these places are great. Hard Off is a really fun one for more like electronics and also musical instruments and musical supplies. They have a super crazy selection of instruments. I don't even play guitar, but these things are so fun to look at. And they also have really good electronics. We actually bought a like-new Chromebook here, saving like $150 or so off of list price. So that's a big W for sure. They also have a really good selection of old games at good prices. Just be aware that this store, like many, they will have this junk sticker on some items. And if you see this, it means there's something wrong with the item. And you can Google Translate the sticker if you want to see what that is. However, if you're someone that likes to fix things, this is also a fantastic place for you. Because most of these junk items are going to be dirt cheap. Otherwise, if you're looking for electronics like laptops, cameras, music supplies, even home appliances, this is a great place to visit. Alright, next up is Book Off at Kyoto Kawaramachi. Now they have a pretty broad selection of goods, especially anime goods. But honestly, it's a bit on the pricier side due to being in a very centralized location. And I will admit to buying a few things here and there over time, including this Final Fantasy XIV snow globe. They're definitely a place if you like trendier games and anime, check this place out. However, if you're looking for something more niche or valuable, such as like higher priced goods or maybe more rare items, you might want to look elsewhere. They also have a decent selection of clothing, although it's mostly men's streetwear fashion. So if that's what you're into, pretty decent selection here. All right, next up is Lashinbang. And if you're into anime, you're pretty much legally required to set foot in here if you enter the country of Japan. They have a really good selection of anime and games, but they can be a little more expensive than the ultimate shop I'm going to show you at the end. There's two main locations of Lashinbang that I usually visit, and that is the main store and the second store. The main store is sort of hidden right next to a 7-Eleven, and it has a lot more niche goods and anime, manga, game goods that you might not find at other places. However, when I say niche, I really do mean niche. This also includes a lot of adult type content. The second store has a much more trendy selection of anime goods, and this store is also bigger, so if you're into more popular anime, the big ones like Jujutsu Kaisen or One Piece, those sort of things, you're probably gonna find a pretty decent selection of items here. Next up, if you're into cameras like me, Camera no Naniwa is a dream come true. When I first set foot in this place, I thought I was going to pass out. It is so cool. They have a fabulous selection of cameras, lenses, and accessories, and it's a really trustworthy place to buy secondhand camera gear. The prices are already competitive for Japan, but compared to buying things back home in the US, most of these items are ridiculously cheap. Anyone that likes cameras should definitely stop by this store. Next up is Dospara and Jampara, and I'm sort of just putting these into one, but these stores sell primarily computer parts and gadgets and electronics. Like I actually got my phone here at like the world's biggest discount. It's actually a Google Pixel 7 Pro, and I think it had like one little scratch on it, and they were like, no one's gonna want this. Let's just make it dirt cheap. And I was like, here I am. So highly recommend this place if you are into any kind of electronics or gadgets. Even got some of my PC parts here actually. So highly recommended. Right next to these two stores is Surugaya. So if you're into anime or games, this is another store that you should definitely set foot into. They do have a pretty good selection of goods, and the prices aren't bad. Of course, they're not as good as the place I'm going to tell you about later, but they do have a relatively like god tier selection of retro games and retro gaming devices, which I didn't even know what some of these were, but they had them. Also had to resist this Wii Fit for 300 yen, which is actually an insult to this beautiful device. All right, it's time. I have been holding out on you, and this is going to be the #1 store to get secondhand goods in Kyoto, in my opinion, but my opinion is correct in this case. So the store is Book Off Super Bazaar at Kyoto Fushimiku. So this store is going to be located outside of the realm of tourism in Kyoto. So you're not going to accidentally walk by this store like you will a lot of the other places that I talked about. To get here, you're going to want to take a bus or just take a cab. It's literally like not even that far at all. This place is huge. It's basically like a Walmart supercenter of secondhand items, and they literally have everything. They have brand goods, anime goods, video games, electronics, Shohei Ohtani, you name it, they have it. And the best part is the prices are honestly unbeatable. I was super curious, so I checked some of the prices here, and then I checked some of the prices at the other stores, and this store beat them out on pretty much everything. This store is definitely like a trust me situation. I want you to trust me. I want you to do a trust fall. I want you to fall into me and trust me that this store is worth going to if you only go to one secondhand store when you are in Kyoto. And frankly, I don't even want to tell you about this place. I want to keep this completely to myself, but I love you guys, and you can like and subscribe for that because, you know, that's my love for you. So there you have it. From luxury finds to anime goods to vintage fashion, you can find pretty much everything in Kyoto. Let me know in the comments what you want to buy in Kyoto, and don't forget to check out my website, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!